okay? And I have a couple of things, but let me start only with the most important one, that was conversations and the event yesterday. Okay, I think that's the most important part. Okay, so conversations. I've been thinking a lot. I've been trying to go harder and harder to to really exercise the muscle. Okay, on that. 2 points. I'm getting better. I mean, I'm trying to speak more with other people about that. There is a clear barrier I have on that. Clear barrier. Okay. If I find a friend who I believe she's not going to be an avatar, she's not going to be a referral, she's not. I mean, like, this very pragmatic sense that I always have is like, it's not going to add some value to me. It's not going to add any value to me. I'm not going to talk to her about this. Okay? So I have this very, a strictly pragmatic sense in everything I do. Okay. So it's like I'm always choosing if the person in front of me is going to be the right target to invest on the conversation or not. Okay, so that clears a first barrier, because you can think, okay, like I'm not choosing correctly. I believe I'm choosing properly. I believe that. Okay. So that is the first point. Second point, yesterday I met some people that I presented my venture before. And then they asked me, so how is your venture going? With that people specifically, I went like, I did something like really different, and this is what I'm offering now. So people they sounded more interested in the product. Okay, like, wow, it sounds nicer, it sounds better, because I expect, this is something that go very straightforward, it sits with, okay, and I get deeper on that. I said it sits with, it's only 2 hours per week plus 1 hour Q&A. That is only 3 hours per week. That is a total of less than 20. So it's and it was like, oh wow, it sounds better. It sounds interesting. Okay. So I did that yesterday during the cocktail. Let's say like probably 4 times. Okay. 4 times. Okay, 4 or 5 times. Because again, I was choosing the right target. It was it's like okay there, and then. Once I thought that, I said to them that nothing else happened. I mean, I didn't define like any phone call or anything additional to that. Okay. But it was good. I practiced. Okay. And again, I was trying to be social. I was trying to be social, and I wasn't like, for example, there were other ladies, basically coaches. Coaches are always like, like these fearful people that you said, okay? Like trying to talk to everyone that they are coaches, like, here I am. That for me is desperation. I'm not going to play that. I mean, I start saying hello, how is your life going? And if I see the right moment, the right person, it's like, oh, okay, this is what I'm doing. That is a more calm way, it's a more relaxed way. I believe it's a more professional way. When I see these ladies in the coaching role, I think that is exactly what I don't want to be. Okay?
I got it.
So, and that's why I have less conversations, okay? Because I select carefully the conversation, the person, the way, the moment. Is that too much? I don't know, okay? I will keep learning about that. But after reviewing my behavior with regards to conversations, that's what I found.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, is that too cautious, too prudent? Should I will, I guess, keep trying now to stretch that, okay? To try to keep stretching myself, okay? Trying to moving the boundaries, okay? But that is my starting point. That is my starting point.
I understand that. I understand that.
And when I saw the ladies, I immediately realized that's why I don't want to have conversations with anyone. like, just having conversation, just saying here, and I'm selling products. And no, that is not professional. Okay? I can stretch that. I know that probably I'm playing in a comfort zone. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to go too far to that. I'm not going to go to that place. So that's more or less now my thinking about conversation after reviewing that carefully. And the event yesterday was an important one because I was trying to prove myself what is exactly my behavior on that.
Very good. Very good. Got it. Very, very good thoughts, Raquel. So being self-aware is very important. As a person, being self-aware is important. Recognizing the things that are draining for you versus the things that are energizing for you is very, very important. Some people, as a personality type, enjoy functioning the way you just described. They enjoy it. Having all those conversations, using that much energy, those are extroverts. If we look at Myers-Briggs, those are extroverted people, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not how you function. You're more introverted. I am more introverted. So I don't behave like that. I'm not like that when I go places. It's just how I am. So understanding who you are and where you're best is a very practical way of thinking about this. And that's where you're starting. You just said, that's my starting point. That's appropriate. I completely understand that. Okay. The next level of that is the next part of that is aggressively selling your services to anyone who will listen. That's different.
Yes.
So some people enjoy having conversations. They enjoy light chats. They enjoy that. That's okay. But you can behave like that and not always be selling. Some people, it's the same thing. They're active personalities and they're always selling their thing. Okay. You don't like either one of them. That's just how you are. That's fine. That's fine.
No, more important than that. Okay. I don't think that leads to be success. I don't think those ladies are going to really achieve the amount of customer they are looking for.
Okay.
For me, the main point of all of this is it doesn't matter, the behavior. What matters is the result.
Okay.
I'm sure those ladies are not getting the result. If they tell me, no, with this behavior, I'm getting 100. Okay, I will follow that. Sure. I will follow that. I will, But for me, the main point of is result. What is our result? I don't think that behavior leads to results. So it doesn't matter to me.
Okay. No argument from me. No, I won't argue that. Okay. All right. What you're saying, and what I certainly agree with, is having quality conversations. So if we're having a conversation, is it a quality conversation? Okay. That is always your goal. Whether you have 100 of them or 10 of them or 3 of them, you're after quality conversations. In this program, we have a whole approach to having quality conversations. So I agree. I agree with that. I think your analysis of last night and your review of how last night went for you is an appropriate way to think about these activities. I review my work all the time. It's how I get better at what I do. So I agree. I think that's the right way of thinking about how you do what you do. Now, let's move on. Is there anything else you want to say or ask about that?
No. I was thinking about conversations. I don't know if we conclude the idea of if I should keep stretching my boundaries instead of how I am conversing with people.
Yes. Okay, good. Well, you already know that you should stretch your boundaries. You already said that.
Uh-huh.
What you will learn to do with practice is you will learn to manage conversations even better. So here's what I mean. The problem call format that you have inside of Module 5 is roughly 45 minutes, maybe a little shorter, maybe a little longer. If you have the whole conversation, roughly 45 minutes. What you'll learn is to have segments of the problem call, and you'll learn to stop when you don't need to go forward. So you'll learn to have the first section of the problem call. Hey, what are you doing now? What do you want to be doing? And you'll realize immediately that this person is not the right fit for you. They don't fit your avatar, and you can't help them. So then you'll learn to stop the conversation right there and move on to something else. Maybe you keep talking to that person, but you just stop the business part of the conversation.
Yes.
And you start talking about the weather or tennis or your children or whatever else you want to talk about. Maybe you stop the conversation altogether. Nice to meet you, and you go away. Maybe. But that ends up being a 10-minute conversation, not a 45-minute conversation. As you get better at having these conversations, you will have more conversations. You'll feel better about having more conversations because you realize you don't have to commit all your energy to the conversation. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. No, and again, it's like the sales navigator. It's about practicing and practicing and practicing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The difference between sales navigator and the conversations is that with sales navigator, since I am alone with the tool, it's going to be easier. With the conversation, I will keep chasing what I believe, who I believe is the right target to really invest in that conversation. That's the main. So one should be quicker. The other one is going to take longer time. But I feel more comfortable now that what I do is I explain the new product because people just ask me like, how is your business going? So I explain the product. Okay. I guess that my next step is going deeper to something similar to the problem code. That could be like my next step.
Okay.
If
good.
I feel,
Good. Okay. Good. Here's the next small step you can take. Right now, someone's asking you how the business is going. And right now, your response is to explain the product, explain the productized service. Okay? Raquel, improve your approach. You shouldn't have to explain your productized service. You only explain the solution to people who have a problem. Remember?
Yes, okay. It's not about explaining the full product, right?
That's exactly right. It's
talking about the solution.
That's it. It's about understanding the problem first.
Okay.
We always start there. We always start with understanding the problem first.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So then your next question would be some version of, someone asks, hey Raquel, good to see you again. Hey, how's the business going? Right? What happens if they start with that question? Right? Well, let me tell you what I'm focused on. Right? I'm focused on helping people transition into Mexico City. Do you know anybody who's transitioning soon?
Okay.
Right? We never got into the problem. We never got into, we never got into explaining your service and how it works and how long it takes. Because they don't care, Raquel. They don't care.
Okay.
Right? So don't waste your breath. Don't bother. Right?
Okay.
Do you know anybody who's transitioning soon? No, I don't know anybody. But what does it mean to transition? Well, people are typically when they're transitioning, they're normally dealing with this or this or this. Have you dealt with any of those things before?
Mm.
We're having
Okay.
a conversation. Raquel, we are literally having a conversation. No one's selling anything. I'm honestly asking you, have you ever dealt with these things before? What
Okay.
you'll find, and I've learned this, Raquel, through practice. Again, there's just no, you got to practice it. Especially when you're at cocktail meetings like a networking session like the one you came from. People ask about your business just out of pleasantry. They're just being nice. So they're not taking interest in your services. They're just being pleasant. So simply respond back, pleasant. Right? So when they ask, "Hey, how's the business?" "What we're doing pretty good. You know, I'm focused on helping people transition. You know, do you know anybody who's transitioning?" I don't know anybody at the time. Well, people who are transitioning are normally dealing with this issue, and that issue. Have you dealt with any of that before? Yeah, you know, when my wife, when my kids, and then they'll start talking about their kids. Okay. You are now off the hook. You don't have to explain anything else about your business. You don't owe them any more information about any of your business stuff. We're now having a conversation. And if they want help with something, they'll ask. It'll be obvious. But sometimes they just want to talk. They're a person. They want to talk to another person. Okay. All of what I just said, again, you learn this by practice. But all of what I just said is that there's a big thing I'm trying to communicate. You are not obligated to have the whole 45-minute problem call. No one says you have to do that. You don't have to go through all of that. That's the first thing you're hearing me say. The second thing you're hearing me say is at any point in that conversation, you could stop talking about it. You have control. We're not talking about this anymore. Whatever you want to talk about is what we'll talk about. Whatever you want to talk about. Strawberries, bananas, peaches, whatever you want to talk about. The weather, I don't care. Right? So all of that helps you maintain the boundary you're trying to set for yourself. So you don't find yourself over-invested, over-explained, right? Like immediately you have a reaction to that because you don't want to do that, right? You don't want to do that. So we're having this conversation now so you can begin to feel what that boundary feels like. You can begin to see what that boundary looks like. Hey, I can simply, because this person just wants to talk to me. They just want to talk to me. They don't want to learn about my business. They just want to talk to me. And they're just trying to start a conversation.
Yeah, and I have a theory. I don't know if that is going to be proved. I believe that when I talk to avatars, okay, and that happens in the online world, probably it's going to be easier. Number one, because I know they are my avatars, okay, so that's going to give me more energy, more motivation on that, okay. It's not a practice. And then secondly, because I'm not going to be feeling this pressure, okay. This is going to be more straightforward, the process, I guess. So let's see. That is one theory I'm going to be testing once I start with that.
What I agree with what you're saying. I agree. What you're saying is when you know the person on the other end has a problem you can solve, the conversation is easier. When you know that, right? Because at that point, the patient has come to see the doctor. So now we know what we're talking about. You came to a hospital. You must be sick. I know what we're talking about, right? I understand that when you're having other kinds of conversations, that's harder to figure out because you're not in a hospital. So you don't know if are you sick or not, or like what. I understand that. Thank you for accepting the practice. This is all about learning how to navigate these conversations. And the more difficult ones make the, let me see. All of this practice makes you better. Any version of this practice makes it better. makes you better at this as long as you don't get overwhelmed by it. And it sounds like you're not. So I know you're okay. That's enough. I don't want to over explain that. What else is on your mind, Raquel?
No, probably I like to ask you if there anything you really want to